the Late IHP Show with your favorite 5D mystic. Mystic because of our lovely clairs, channeling guidance, reading tarot, Akashic record readings, all of that which is connecting to the infinite intelligence. And there's many words that people use. I like to use Akash because Akashic records, we all have one. What I like even more is being able to explain, so 5D Mystic, Enlightenment, the Enlightenment Soul Age group, the human way of accessing, achieving. I don't like any of those words because I can explain it to you the human way. So the whole 3-year-old heart, a person who gets to return home to themselves, being yourself, secure attachment, your mammalian heritage, lo and behold, functional adult. And that is an emotionally mature person. When you have integration of the brain, which is the optimal inner and outer well-being of a person, according to recent studies accumulating, and the people that will know all about it are the good therapists. The good therapists or the good trauma experts or the good neuroscientists. Good, that means they don't use the ancient silverback stories. So it's not the esotericism, metaphysics, not the ones who philosophize and use words, God, deity, divinities. So the people who are trying to expand consciousness, you see and hear them talking to you about unconditional love. The ones who have superhero capes and they are fighting supervillains and they are rescuing groups of people, those are the individuals who are not completely, in fact, out of the woods from their broken 3-year-old heart. So their 1-year-old is definitely still looking to attach and be seen, the sense of self of the 1-year-old. I want to be seen so I can be soothed, bottled, warmed up, depends. So that I can feel safe in here. And once I'm safe, my nervous system has essentially learned how to regulate into a ventral vagal nervous system. My mammalian heritage, secure attachment. So I will continue to move into life. So that's the secure attachment, a third of attunement and repairing ruptures. That's very important. So abuse, neglect, alcoholic parents, terror. There's a lot of different ways that updated therapists are finding that, we have a lot of unresolved trauma, parenting from the past and the present, and we don't know if we'll move all the way out of it, but at least we have the good experts talking about very important topics. So how the group of those therapists who are not healed yet, some have dissociative identity disorders, some are compensating and creating codependent type relationships with their entire tribe of we're going to go against the narcissist when the narcissists are a group of people who need just as much support as the next person. But if you did have a narcissistic parent and you did not, or parents or a household, terrifying household, and you didn't heal what is your unresolved trauma, even if you're a therapist and you are a codependent type, martyr, superior, again, I'm a superhero, rescuing everybody else from a supervillain, which would be that narcissist person. I've seen people do this. They're professionals. I find it quite sad. They're not good professionals in my book because they're supposed to be supporting the entire community of mental health. That's their role as a person with a label psychologist, therapist. I'm not. I'm a personal development consultant. I'm pseudoscience woo-woo lady. I'm a 5D mystic. So neuroscience and sciences community take us very little seriously, and that's okay. See, I'm not here for the sciences people. The sciences people, they're doing a great job. In fact, they're not flat earthers. The ones who are superheroes with their capes, they could be with flat earthers. They might as well go there because they're using ancient text. God, divinity, deity, Jesus, Christ consciousness. Let's talk about that. So all the storylines are not using the data. I get to learn about data because I really love learning how to help people to be their self. So here's the thing. Whole 3-year-old heart, the sense of self of you and I, we feel it in here. So if you have a rupture, I don't have a rupture. I know secure attachment. So my nervous system knows very good self-regulation. In my ventral vagal state, I'm in equanimity. I got to practice getting here from my teenager years. We all have charged states, by the way, every human, according to the sciences. Now, I personally, again, pseudoscience woo was great, but I'm not a flat earther. I love seeing what they're doing. At the same time, like, why are they using their brain that way? They could use their brain so many different ways. Like when I see people who say, I'm a therapist, and here I'm going to use a lot of words and label a group, I'm going to be like, yeah, you're not the one that I know is a good therapist. You need to continue going to therapy, and I can't wait for hopefully there to be more regulation so that I don't have to see you online creating what is fear-mongering, using textbooks from the ancients' time and ancient silverbacks and getting people to use words, and they don't really know what they're saying, but really what it is they're not healing. They're not moving in their inner and outer well-being, and you are actually using your little stethoscope or whatever it is to look good. No, you're not really doing it on purpose. You're convinced you're doing something great. You're in fact a 4D group, 4D, 3D. They're in separation consciousness because they're not in oneness. If they were, then they'd know how to use their prefrontal cortex to be objective about their implicit bias. They'd know everything about themselves. And wait a minute, did I heal completely, or am I still looking for the bystanders to point to shame, blame, fault, and or lo and behold, revenge by being martyr superiors? We are the heroes with the spears, and maybe I'm not yet ready to actually be sharing, or maybe I should look at how I'm sharing this. This is what happened to me. So here's where I'm at. I still have a lot of personal feelings when it comes to this, so there's a bias that I have. And so you shouldn't come to me for these types of things because I still am healing. This is what it means to be grown up, to know your flaws and imperfections. I have plenty of weaknesses. Got to ask my family. I tell them all about it. Point is, whole 3-year-old heart has fun. Krishna, Lila, Shiva, Kali, all the words that we use in the lovely plane of mysticism. Let me get back to Christ consciousness, oneness. So integration of the brain. When you're using your left, the chit-chatter, and the right, all the emotions that come up from a regulated nervous system, so I can handle all the emotions. I don't do structural dissociation. I don't do the dissociation of depersonalization, derealization. Yeah, in fact, I don't live pseudo-aliveness. So my default mode network turns on only with my ventral vagal state, which is my higher functioning areas. I don't have PTSD from childhood trauma. I have secure attachment. I'm an emotionally mature, functional adult. And so when I'm looking at you, I see a whole person. Lo and behold, and when I see shame cycles, it's inner critic, outer critic, envy, jealousy, spite, revenge, these therapists and people who are actually using words that I find quite not necessary. I mean, the 4D mystics, at least they're mystics. They have more of an excuse, but a professional, you went to college. You should have been able, no, I guess should have isn't a word I should use because they all went to college and I did too. And I thought people would be serious about what they were studying. I forgot that they do what they do to try and prove. Adaptive children do. So when you have low self-esteem, martyrs or superiors have low self-esteem. They will think they're superior or inferior inside. It all depends. You can always notice it's if they treat you like a whole human. So Christ consciousness, unconditional love. I heard esoteric explanation of it. I'm like, whoa, they're talking about how to move into integration of the brain. I learned it all from Daniel Siegel in interpersonal neurobiology. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. It ain't left and right, masculine, feminine, externalized. The 4D bandwidth isn't somewhere in the middle of nowhere. No, it's here. And wait, you have trauma memory, and I think you have PTSD lingering. Your default mode network, I think, still works on pseudo-aliveness, which is why you are actually depersonalizing, derealizing, and dissociated in a clinical way, and you don't realize it because you continue to live out your unresolved trauma, karma, from your own household, 0, 1, attached, panicky, 2, 2, 7, shame, submissive, freeze of all ages, 11, 12, flight, and 14, 15, 16, fight. Those are the charge states we all have, or you can look into the eternal family system model, or you can look into child parts. But really what I'm trying to help people to understand is mysticism is a specific way you channel information, but the brain is still a human brain, and all that is spirituality joins with science is to say, enlightenment the human way, and mysticism in and of itself, it's a person. If you can handle it, your window of welcome for emotions is great. If you have a window of tolerance, then you will be doing the amygdala thing where your frontal lobes are dropped down. You're doing pseudo-aliveness, and you can channel a lot, yeah. Definitely not going to move into 5D if you don't know how to love yourself and others with flaws and imperfections unconditionally. So the Christ consciousness thing, I know people use ancient texts. 5D mystics, we don't. We use the sciences that explain why the spirituality and all the stories have worked till now. They explain something that today neuroscience actually has a really great way of explaining it. So do the psych educators. I get to share with you human, spiritual, and spirituality elements. So 5D mystics, enlightenment, functional adults. We don't have sagas or drama with our twin flame or flames because we're actually people who say you're whole and I'm whole. We're peeps, 3-year-old whole heart. It's open-hearted, spontaneous love, no strings attached, because secure attachment here, safe haven, secure base. I know how to make every 24 hours count. I know how to self-regulate. That's the thing. My nervous system, even with my panic attacks, look at that one. So being comfortable in the uncomfortable, to learn more, tune in, and have a really great full moon. This one was for the full moon, by the way. And I hope you had a wonderful holiday.